over the country that are just, baffled by what they're told by the unions on how they spend money and how they actually spend it. Now, look, if they lie about how they're spending the money, and that's where these reports are so important, that's where they're going to get in trouble here is, again, they have to report a lot of these revenues and the way they share revenue. And that's where we've got to do a deep dive. Look, we should do a full-on investigation over where are the teachers' unions allocating their funds. Again, they tell the union members that they're going to spend it in certain ways. They document that they spend it in certain ways, but are they actually spending them in those ways? We know they're behind the No Kings rallies. We know that they've pushed money to all these left-wing groups and activism around the country. I mean, it's time to do a deep dive and investigation to say how much of this could be illegal. And I think that that's where you see teachers all over the country leaving the teachers union. They're going to optouttoday.com to leave the union. We run the Teachers Freedom Alliance for teachers to say, hey, leave the union, get out. We provide a lot of services for teachers to help them be better teachers, but get out of the teachers union. It is a corrupt operation that is furthering the wildest, craziest Marxist schemes in the country while lining their own pockets. But yeah, there needs to be an investigation into how they're spending their money. And teachers, you need to leave.
It's funny because I grew up with some friends of mine, good friends when I was younger, and now there's a couple of them are teachers on Long Island, and they're like part of the union. Like, we can't say anything at them. And they're conservative, but they're afraid to give their opinion out in the open, and they have to be part of a union. So is it anywhere people can, because they're so controlled and they're so left, but can any unions across the states, so I could tell all our audience, can opt out? How does it work? Or each state has their own rules?
Absolutely. Well, optouttoday.com is the place to go for everybody in a public sector union to navigate where they are, what state they're in, how to get out. So I can't emphasize that enough. Go to optouttoday.com, get out of the unions. And again, if they're teachers, we have an organization, the Teacher Freedom Alliance, that again helps teachers keep their certificates, helps make sure they're not targeted for leaving the union. So specifically for teachers, go to teacherfreedom.com to see how we can help you navigate that. But what we've got to continue to do is let these workers know you are being taken advantage of. And again, it is the union bosses that are the enemy here. They are the problem. It's not the workers that are out there, that so many of them, they are lied to. They are told you have to join a union. No, you don't. You don't have to join a union. Number two, they are bullied, intimidated, and targeted if they do leave the union. That is outrageous. This is America. This is a free country. We believe in freedom here. We're about to celebrate 250 years of freedom. It is outrageous that the unions have been allowed to operate this way in the freest country in the history of the world. We have got to defeat these unions. We have got to free the workers and say, hey, this is a free market system. You don't have to be in a radical left-wing union.
You know what they did in California, Ryan? They forced Uber drivers and Lyft drivers and independent drivers to form a union in California. Most of them don't want to be in a union. They want to keep most of their money. They're independent workers. Independent consultants, independent workers. They work on their own time. They don't want to be employees. They don't want to be unionized. But the state that's controlled by a leftist mentality and ideology forced them to unionize. Obviously, at the end of the day, they want them all to be voters. It's just silly and stupid what they did in California. Did you see that recently?
I did. And you're exactly right. Like, the game is to further the Democrat Party and the Democrat causes. That's what they want. They want to force people into the unions, force them into the Democrat Party, take their money, their hard-earned money, and use it to elect the most radical left-wing politicians in the country. It's absolutely outrageous. We hear from teachers on a daily basis going, look, what in the world? We didn't know they were using the money here, using the money there. You hear from workers all over the country. They want to make a living. They want to be able to make a living for them and their families. It is the most un-American thing I can think of to say, yeah, you can work hard, but you're going to have to give part of your paycheck to this left-wing organization, or you can't work. That's absolutely outrageous. We've got to continue to fight back against them, get the word out, and also we shouldn't be using taxpayer subsidies to help the union. You see that in public schools all the time, where they're literally deducting from teachers' paychecks through their HR systems. No. We shouldn't be assisting in any way public sector unions' growth and continuing undermining of this country. So we've got to continue to push back on these unions, investigate these unions, and ultimately destroy these unions.